All right, everyone, welcome back for another episode of Carnivore Trade. Today is Tuesday, January 18th, 2022. So market's selling off pretty sharply here today. Triple Q's down 2.5, S&P down 1.7 here. And this is all back on the rising yield. So 10-year Treasury up over 5% here, 30-year up 3.3%. Also, Goldman Sachs reporting earnings, declaring a massive loss in some of their trades, their trading department specifically, which is kind of baffling considering the volatility lately. Typically, that's good for swing trading. But I don't know. The market has been on easy mode. It was on easy mode for a really long time, and this quarter, though, only the pros are gonna make it. But anyway, Goldman getting whacked today, down 7% here. J.P. Morgan down another 4% here. They reported last Friday. Did not stock was not very positive responding. And take a look here on the weekly, by the way, of JPM. Nasty reversal candle there. Goldman Sachs also an ugly gap below that 50 moving average. It does have support at this kind of trend line here. It's a monthly trend line, but nice little on Goldman. But that is a pretty big beat down. And you know, it's Wall Street's kind of bailing on the financials right now, which is not a good sign. We talked about this recently. If tech is selling off and financials selling off, what does this market really have left? Well, it's got XLE, but you know, eventually, if it loses XLE, then it's going to get ugly for this market. But near term, let's take a look at the spiders. So SPY did take out Friday's low, and I think this is noteworthy. The triple Qs did not take out last week's low. So even with the rising yield, the Nasdaq was sort of the better performer, relatively speaking, even though it was down more than the S&P was percentage-wise. At least on a relative basis to last week, the triple Qs did not take out the lows. Now, some of this may be OpEx related. You know, there's just lots of jockeying going on, lots of games being played. But I think a lot of it is also just there's a lot of bearishness on the tape right now. And I do think this market is a little overdue for a bounce. You can this dump right here. This is all shorting. This is not real sellers. I think there's a lot of people trying to short into the hole here, and ultimately it's going to come back to burn them like it always does. And you know, I always preach here to everybody, like, don't chase. You want to short, you scale in at the top, or wait for a sell signal at the top, or if you want to buy, you buy the dips. You don't chase it up here. And we're seeing sellers kind of come in here at the lows, so that makes me think we could get a bit of a relief rally here in the market over the next week. However, I do expect resumption of downside to take place over the next really couple of months here. But near term, I think the market's a little sold. Semiconductors getting hit here, down 4.5% here. Still kind of holding in this range here, so they're hanging in there for now, and that's really one of the positives for the market. But if this market loses the semis, again, kind of like energy, it's going to get ugly. IGV Cloud Software was weak again today, losing last week's low. So cloud has just been getting hammered on. I keep waiting for it to get a good bounce, and it just doesn't. I was watching this level here on Cloudflare at about 95 bucks, and a lot of members are asking me about it because I talked about this months ago. I was like, I would love to get Cloudflare at 95. I love this level. But you know, it got down there last week, bounced, and then I never like it when you get close to a level and bounce. And it got there today, and it just couldn't do anything. So I mean, a lot of these cloud stocks just can't get out of their own way right now. Speaking of things making new lows, Russell 2000 making a new low here. So it took out the low from July, and it does not have very far to go to make 52-week lows. So that would be down at 204.84. We're very close to that now. That's a pretty ugly close on the Russell. It also makes me think that, again, it could be kind of trappy. I mean, there's probably some squeeze fuel here. Now, when I say squeeze, I'm not saying it's going to go to all-time highs, but definitely potential for a relief rally on the horizon, I think. Dow did manage, via the diamond here, did manage to close below that 100 MA. So another weak look there for the Dow, and losing this kind of support area as well. That is because Goldman holds a pretty large weighting on the Dow Jones, and it's down pretty precipitously today. So that is the weighting there. Dow Transport's also weak, down 1.5. Did hold the 100 moving average, though. They're hanging in there. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Financials, we talked about Goldman and JP earlier. XLF down 2.25 here. Still holding trend, though. It is holding all 4 major moving averages, which is kind of amazing. But XLF's holding up. There's been a little bit of strength relatively over the last week or so in Visa and MasterCard, at least relatively compared to some of the banks getting hit the days. But It's performed a little bit better than some of the banks have. So that's helping the XLF. XBD broker dealers getting hit hard, did hold the 200 moving average, and you're holding this little trend line here. So, we'll give it the upside bias for now, but if you lose this area, and especially if you lose this pivot, it's pretty much lights out for broker dealers. Let's move on to crude here. I do have crude making one more push up, and then I think we're getting into a risk zone here. It definitely exceeded my original target. So we had this move up, little ABC up, and I thought we would stall out around 79, 80 bucks, which we did for maybe 2 days. And then we, blasted right back off. I did some updated calculations last night, and think it's probably going to 86 and maybe a little bit above that. But then I think we get into kind of a zone where the risk reward favors the downside. I'm not necessarily sure if we get a sell signal on crude, but we're definitely getting closer to resistance than support, in my opinion. XLE, speaking of resistance, you guys know I've been talking about this area. Next high, 65. I said that 65 would be resistance. Maybe it gets up to 66. We got up to 65.53 today, pulled back a little bit here. But that necktie is powerful. You're also in a lot of chop. This is down from, that is resistance there. Also printed, but have a hanging man candle here after a large move up. So could be a bit of a bearish candle. You had good volume there too. XOP actually finished red. So that got up to double top and then came in, a little reversal there. OIH got above this little double top and then with a pretty good reversal candle there. So energy getting in, a little extended here. But I think, maybe it's got a little bit more upside, specifically spot crude. But then I think it's got to do at least some backing and filling. Nat gas really just laid an egg today. Didn't really, just a little from that sell off on Friday. We talked about yields, but 10-year pushing higher here. So continuing that weekly dominance, gapping up above the 200 moving average. And this thing should clear 1971 pretty soon. You might have a little bit of a pit stop there. You got this red bar high. So right around 2%. So somewhere in that area. But 10-year yield looking strong here. 30-year also. And again, that resistance about 2% on the 10-year should coincide with this level here on the 30-year. So around we'll call it 2.3. There's that 200 from right here. So those levels should coincide, at least for the most part. But yields moving up here. Dollar index, I'm going to flip over to trading view because I don't know what happened with Think or Swim today, but the dollar print is all messed up and I can't dollar index. Anyway, nice pop here off that 100 MA. And dollar really resuming the uptrend. I said that this was going to be a dip buy. Hope everybody bought because I gave that one out. That was a freebie. Members got it before everybody. But anyways, nice little pop there on the dollar. This should resume higher. You guys know my price target's up. Probably ultimately 9. While I'm right here on TradingView, Bitcoin selling off with everything else, but did come off the lows nicely here. So nice little reversal there on Bitcoin. So potentially maybe a little higher low. You have a move down here. So typically you see an ABC up after a breakdown. So we could be seeing this kind of little ABC, and then maybe we back test this trend line. Could coincide with the 50 average. But if that doesn't hold, then of crypto, I'm not in love with crypto. Let's flip over to gold. Gold is kind of all over the map today. You see the GLD here. But ultimately finished just down just 0.2%. A lot of volume there on gold, by the way, but it is holding this bullish inside bar. So this could get a move up to that 1860. Yeah. The XAU actually, if this can get above 133.1, it could go up there and attack that 200 average. Silver, same kind of deal, but actually silver playing out both. Oh, there was lower earlier. Excuse me there. So silver getting a nice push there after a 2-bar pullback, getting through the pivot top here. And this is probably related to yields as the industrial aspect of silver does come into play there. So next areas are right above 20 on spot silver. Let's take a look at platinum. Platinum also popping as well. Still got to get above those moving averages. Then you can get above that pivot and then 1020 to 1025 on platinum. Palladium also kind of getting a pop here too. Still has to deal with that 100 average as well. Copper pulling back a little bit, continuing to sell off from Friday. Lost this green bar low, so not a great look, but ultimately, as long as it doesn't lose 34, it's fine. And I think that's about all I had. I think to recap here, probably looking for some type of a lower high pattern. I know we triggered a head and shoulders. Every bear in the world, let me make this clear. Every bear in the world is going to be all over Twitter, tweeting and retweeting this head and shoulders pattern. And they're going to say, oh, it broke down. We closed below the neckline. Everyone is talking about this head and shoulders pattern. And when everybody can see it, a lot of the times and we are oversold going into this level, got the 100 MA there. If we close above this neckline tomorrow, it will initiate us. That could take you back up to potentially 472. Maybe a little bit shyer, excuse me, a lower high. Anyways, though, medium to long term outlook is bearish. Short term, I do have a little bit of a bullish bias going into the rest of the week. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Come check me out on Patreon. By the way, we closed out another winner today, 12 for 12 year to date. So crushing it as usual. But you guys want to get in on that, come find me on Patreon. Come find the new website, carnivoretrades.com. Anyways, guys, take care, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow.